Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is ReadingBear and I hope you are ready for some more stories. And today, we'll take a look at some new entitled people content. If you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comment. And now, let's dive right into the stories.
The first story is titled, Neighbor Thieves Ruined My Garden and Stole My Expensive Roses. I embarrassed them. TLDR. I turned my yard into a beautiful garden of plants, flowers, and rose bushes. Slowly people start stealing from it and destroying my plants. I get them on a dashboard camera though and use their pictures to make a wall of shame poster that shows them stealing. They get angry about the wall while others find it hilarious. Once I put it up, the stealing seemed to stop, and my garden can finally be in peace without getting dug up or clipped by greedy entitled neighbors. A couple little things I want to say before I get into the meat of this story. I know usually people are talking about one neighbor in particular, but for this story it involves multiple people living on the block or surrounding blocks, so they are who I will be referring to as neighbors. Finally, a reason I am telling this story to the internet world is because in real life I have been getting sort of mixed reactions if what I did was wrong or hilarious. I decided that I might as well let all of you be the judge at the end of the story if you think my actions were funny or horribly mean. Now onto the story, which starts with my beautiful garden. Gardening has always been a hobby of mine, so when I bought a house, I wanted to make sure that my yard was big enough that I could enjoy doing it. Because of that, I chose and moved into a house with the most beautiful yard space you could imagine, and then I started sectioning it off. I had an area of young plants in their pots, an area with some buds that I wanted to keep safe, even an area to maybe plant some vegetables, which was a new area for me and got me excited. Scattered around my whole yard though were my pride and joy, my rose bushes. Call me a cliché, but I just love having a ton of roses in my garden to look at and care for. Also, it became a talking point because whenever I saw something passing my house they always got interested and stopped to look at it. I made a ton of small talk about my garden and even giving out some amateur advice on how to grow some things that I felt confident about. Things seemed to actually be going great, until I guess some neighbors decided that doing it themselves would just be too hard, or maybe why put in time, money, and effort, when they could just steal the plants from my yard when nobody was around. You can imagine how upset I got, but I don't want you to picture one day everything is there and suddenly one morning I wake up and the entire place is barren. It happened slowly over time, where I would see some potted plants missing or something clearly dug up and taken by a person. The most common thing though, that was also the most infuriating, was people clipping and taking roses. I guess just going to a nursery and buying them was just too much of a hassle when they could steal them. Now I know which neighbors were doing this because while my house doesn't have a fancy camera or something, the dashboard on my car has one. Long story short, I got one after a fender bender where I couldn't prove I wasn't at fault. The good thing that came out of that was now I have the footage of the people coming into my yard and stealing from my garden. I didn't want to do anything crazy like try to get them arrested for trespassing and theft. I knew it would end up being a big, long thing where in the end they might get a fine at most. I didn't want to get them in trouble anyway, I just wanted to get a little bit of good old-fashioned revenge. I took the camera footage and took still image shots of the people stealing from my garden and printed them out. Usually, I would choose a moment where they were most visible or maybe even where they didn't look great. If you ever randomly paused a video, you know that sometimes faces can end up looking completely ridiculous. Now you might be thinking why I would print out pictures of the theft if I didn't want to have them arrested or anything. Instead, I got a poster board and pasted all of the photos on it and at the top large words saying, "Beware of garden thieves." I even sent a photo of the board to my brother who thought it was hilarious. He did give me one piece of advice though that I thought was a good idea. He told me not to write the names of the neighbors like I wanted to because that has the potential of causing problems, but instead I could write something else, and after thinking a while I decided that under each picture, I wrote their crime of what they stole. To finish it off, I placed it right in my front yard so that everyone passing by could see it and the good neighbors could be shocked how many horrible people they lived nearby. As you probably could guess, it didn't even take a full day before I started hearing from people that made it onto my wall of shame and didn't think it was very funny. Some told me that it was illegal to have a picture of them, while others insulted me for doing something backhanded instead of just speaking to me first. I found that ironic since they could have spoken to me before going behind my back and destroying my plants. One though did show up with his head down and mumbled out an apology while I saw his wife waiting at the end of the sidewalk. That guy stole roses and I'm guessing he gave them to his wife and told her that he paid for them. I decided though that I was going to keep my wall of shame up mainly because it seemed to stop people from trying to steal because they didn't want to be the next person with an unflattering photo on my wall. One guy was really mad and said he was going to call the police on me to sue, but he either never did it or they weren't going to do anything about it. So now we are looping back to current day where I am getting very mixed reactions by friends and family. Some think it is genius while others think I went a little too far and shouldn't have done it. Lately a third group emerged that told me it was funny for a while, but I should really take it down now since it's been long enough. That's the group I can understand a little since I guess if people start stealing again, I can always make another wall of shame, or just remove people after a certain amount of time. I want to know what you all think though. Should I have done something else to get my revenge? Or was my wall of shame just what my neighbors needed in order to get the message that they couldn't steal from me? Either way I would love to know what anybody thinks, and if the wall was too much then what should I do if my garden starts getting pillaged again? Thanks for reading and I hope you found this as entertaining as some of my friends did. The next story is titled, "It is a really bad idea to make a government employee angry." This one is a double government employee event, and what you should know is if you get the attention of a government employee and make them angry, they will make your life a living hell. Sorry, this is a long one. The setup is that I was working for a local county government in the permitting department that handled drainage and floodplain enforcement. I received a complaint from a homeowner, nice guy, lived next door to a house that was part of an incorporated village, not nice guy. Nice guy lived in an unincorporated portion of the county and hence the call to me as an agent of the county. I drove out to the site and to investigate and discovered some interesting facts. The permitting agent for the village allowed the incorporated homeowner to fill his lot affecting the drainage, which caused the unincorporated lot to flood every time there was anything more than light rain. Nice guy indicated that there was some tension between him and not nice guy, and part of the issue was that nice guy and his partner were a gay couple. This ran up a red flag for me, but in trying to be impartial I took the information and some photos for the file and indicated that I would contact the village to find a resolution. I wrote a letter and then called the village inspector, Jackwagon, to discuss. I was told by Jackwagon that the village could do as it pleased and that I could do nothing to stop not nice guy from doing as they pleased as it was approved by the village. There was then a comment about those type of people, the gay couple, making complaints just to cause trouble. I was now on the case, and it was time to make sure everything done on the incorporated lot was 100% legal. At this point the game certainly was now on, because if there is one thing that grinds my gears it is bullying. I went back out and spoke to nice guy to let them know what I was up to and also that I was not going to let this slide. I then started investigating the elevations on the two lots and what fill had been placed on the incorporated lot. The not nice guy came out and started getting belligerent about my presence and ongoing investigation. He incorrectly stated that I did not have jurisdiction over his lot and that he would be calling the police. I patiently listened and then pulled out my two-way radio and requested that the home base dispatch both a village and a county police unit to the location. I then indicated that since there was a regulatory floodplain on his lot, I did in fact have jurisdiction and that I would be exercising my right to determine the impact of his fill activities upon that floodplain. Both of the police units showed up and I let them know what was going on. They were both appropriately agitated to have to waste their time and let not nice guy know that I was within my authority to proceed with the investigation. A little while later, while I was measuring things, Jackwagon showed up. He stated berating me about harassing the village resident and threatening calling my boss and filing a complaint and so forth. I invited him to do so, quoting which parts of the code he should indicate I was violating. I was using marking paint to show the limits of the floodplain for the photos for the file, and what do you know, Jackwagon's shoe got painted when he tried to stop me. Obviously, he was even more angry, as was the homeowner, due to very bright orange paint in the grass in his yard. I pointed out I had done the same on the neighboring lots, but they just kept complaining. It was actually marking chalk that comes off pretty easily. Interestingly, I found two really wrong things on not nice guy's lot. 1. There was fill placed in the floodplain, and 2. A garden shed was built on the fill and partially within the floodplain. Both are a big no-no and are actually against federal law. So, the course of action had two parts. 1. Make the incorporated homeowner remove the fill and shed from the floodplain, and 2. Let nice guy place fill in their lot outside of the floodplain to counteract the fill remaining in not nice guy's lot outside of the floodplain. I also told nice guy it would be a good idea to run a field tile on their side to drain the water that would inevitably pond up between the two lots when it rained. Predictably, not nice guy and Jackwagon got super angry when I sent the letter out that there were violations that either had to be corrected, remove fill and shed, or apply for a revision of the floodplain with the Army Corps of Engineers. Good luck with that. This then led to a meeting at the county office with not nice guy, Jackwagon, my supervisor and myself. Quickly things went to 11 and there was yelling by Jackwagon about abuse of power, etc. The department head came into the conference room and told them both they were wrong and that they should leave peacefully and comply or face the consequences, fines. The best part was that not nice guy had to apply for a permit, and guess who was the one to review and approve it? That's right, yours truly. Now, I was following the letter of the law, but you have to know that poor government workers are underpaid and overworked. Strangely, the permit for nice guy was almost immediately approved, while not nice guy had to have a very thorough review to ensure it was correct. You could make a case I was abusing my power, but I can assure you that the timing for their review was well within acceptable limits. Also, how could I be held to account that they misfiled 3 times before they finally got it right? Generally, if you behaved like a civil human and came to the office, we would help you get things done properly so the permit would go through first time, but not nice guy decided he could do it all in his own, so it took him 3 tries. Had he come to the office I would have given him the same service as others, but he decided to take the hard route and therefore I didn't give a single inch when it came to the submission being perfectly correct. Ultimately, the situation was resolved, but it took a lot more effort than it should have. Moral of the story: don't be an entitled homophobic asshole. The last story is titled, "Do you want to fat shame me? Fine. I'll shame you in front of your friends. I, 17 male, have an aunt, Tara. Tara is about 5 feet and weighs 80-ish lbs, give or take, and no, that isn't an exaggeration. She's very anorexic due to her religion, don't ask which one, cuz I couldn't tell you. And because of that, she expects everyone else around her to be anorexic. And, as she lives with her father, my grandfather, who's an evil old man who completely backs her up, she tends to shame anyone who doesn't fit her body standards. Now, enter me, a 17-year-old, who stands 6 feet 5 inches, and weighs about 285 pounds. She hates that, and she and my grandfather give me crap about it regularly, but I can usually shut them up. Well, my aunt gets clothes for my family members as gifts on birthdays and holidays, as she is extremely religious and believes anything else is satanic. Yes, anything but clothes and the Bible are satanic when used as gifts. My aunt also gives people clothes that fit her body standards. Which means that since I was about 13 and hit my growth spurt, she's gifted me plain clothes that are about 3 sizes too small. It's not too big a bother for a lot of the girls in my family, but it doesn't suit me well. This year for my birthday, I brought up that they were too small, and she said, "They are incentive for you to lose some weight and become a normal height." Yeah, cuz I can control my height. Anyhow, we had a family reunion coming up at a restaurant, and Tara's friends are gonna be there. She asked if I could bring my fiancée, Mia, 19 female, and I said sure, why not? While trying to decide what to wear, Mia says, "Why don't you wear those clothes Tara got you?" So, I decided, suck it, why not? And wore them. My stomach was poking out from under the shirt, the seams were coming undone all across it. And the pants were most definitely making my ass look huge. We arrive and meet my extended family and Tara's friends, who seem caught off guard by my appearance. When they ask what I was wearing, I innocently said, "Oh, this is what Tara thought it was appropriate to gift me for my birthday this year. So, I'm just gonna make sure she knows how much I appreciate her incredible gift." Everyone thought it was funny on my part, but obnoxious on Tara's part. When Tara showed up, and saw me, she was clearly pissed. And she made it look worse by saying, "You were supposed to wear that once you lost some weight. You can't wear that here, you're too fat." Let's just say, after that comment, everyone in our party chewed her ass out. The funny thing is, I'm not even fat, I'm just really tall and a little chubby. After the reunion and after my fiancé finished giving me a hard time about looking like a toddler in his favorite shirt he'd outgrown, we all went our separate ways. Tara let everyone in our family group chat know that from now on, She was just gonna send kitchen sets to everyone on birthdays and holidays. I think I won. I'm no expert though. If you're gonna fat shame a guy, make sure he's got more shame than he does audacity. And make sure that you don't give him the tools he needs to make your ass look bad. Thank you for listening.